Welcome, Modern Talkers. This is Modern Talk. Modern Talk. Why? We're here, we're doing it, we're making it, we're moving it, we're grooving it. Sorry I have to get so chesty on them. I don't know, it just feels too tight like that. So I have to do this. And I'm tan because I live at the beach, so this is how it is. And it's fall, and I'm sure it's not fall when you're watching this, unless you're watching it next year, which is possible, hopefully. And so this is really not fall. But you don't know that, so if I didn't tell you. But I wanted to tell you because it's I like it. I like fall a lot. I was thinking on the way here, there was like a meadow, and it was, had that fog over it, and I was like, man, like deer really live there. Like that's crazy. Like animals just really sleep outside, huh? That is so weird, right? I think it's crazy that animals sleep outside. I don't get it. What is that about? Have you ever camped in a tent? It's not good. There's a reason why we have homes. The whole experience of camping is fun as a whole, but and when you look back on it, it's like, oh, that was so crazy. We just slept on the ground. But really you would so hate that. Like even people that love camping would so hate that to live like that for real, like more than a week or whatever you do. 3 nights is, I think, my max. Unless I'm with like the best people ever, then it's like whatever. But I remember I worked at a camp, and I think you should know that if you're a diehard Modern Talker, because Sammy and I met there and stuff. And so, have you ever slept in the bear air, like real animals? First of all, no, I'll get to that later. I can't believe this is my podcast. I just talk about animals sleeping outside. But so we had a thing called Man Night at Pine Valley, and I love Pine Valley, of course. And every morning the camp director would say, "It's a beautiful day at Pine Valley," and that was like a big thing. And then we'd all like, Pine Valley rules. We'd do stuff like that, and we meant it. And you know what's not beautiful at Pine Valley? Night. Because, and not all the nights, but we mostly slept in cabins. But we had a thing every Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday, or it was definitely a week. It was definitely a day in the week. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't in space, so no time was warped at all when we were doing this. Just over explaining, who cares when it was. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better this week. You could tell, I'm sure. So every someday, we had a thing called Man Night and Girl Night, or maybe Lady Night, or Woman Night. I can't remember. That's weird. I obviously only cared about Man Night or whatever, but so we do this thing. It was actually like really cool, and sexism isn't dead. Don't worry about it. But yeah. So we would do like traditionally manly and womanly things. So the guys would eat some sort of meat. I think it was steak, but it was like obviously low grade steak. Um, but it was still, meat. Manly meat. It's only manly to kill. So, so we do that, and then it was always like beans as the side, and it wasn't manly to use utensils, so we had to bite everything off with our thing, and then we'd have to make. I guess you could just like slurp it up, which some people did, but I would always try to make tinfoil like spoon, because it wasn't manly to use utensils, uh, and then we'd go on a hike, and sometimes we'd go to this really big hill, and like really like a cliff kind of thing, um, like just enough not a cliff that it's a hill, but it was like you wouldn't have died if you fell, but it was like you definitely don't want to fall, and if you do, you better fall right. You better come correct when you fall, because if you fall wrong, something definitely bad could happen. But yeah, so we would, just run up to the top of the cliff hill, and that was like one of our manly things. And at the end, we'd all go in the pool and like kind of rinse off because you get dirty and stuff, which is gross. They're basically bathing in the pool all the time, but and then to top it off, the manliest thing to do is to sleep outside, of course. And so all they had was a tarp on the ground, and you got to bring your pillows and stuff, but it was terrible. Have you ever done that? Let me know. Let me know what's the campiest camp thing you've done, or the most animal night you've had. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, I don't want to hear about that. Wow, I can't believe I really said that, and I didn't even mean to. Usually I'm more aware like that. But tell me like the least glampy, campy thing you've done. And I can't believe that. That's so good. That's something that I would want to happen organically, but I would just think it in my head, and then I'd be like, dang, like that would never happen. And I can't, force it out. But I actually got that on camera, so that's sweet. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, bear airing it. So yeah, there was nothing above us. There was no tent. It was literally just a tarp, like a huge tarp, because it was all the guys at the camp. And that's what you did. And you woke up wet, all dewy from, the morning dew. I always think of when I think of the dew, I think of the Timmy Turner. Well, it's called Fairly Odd Parents. There's a plane overhead. The Fairly Odd Parents did a thing where they were like fairy people or something that made the grass wet. They like came every day and just like threw water on the ground. He's like, oh, that's why it's like that. And because I didn't even know about that at the time, because as a kid I don't know, I just never thought about it or noticed it, that the grass is wet in the morning. I must have just thought it rained but even if it doesn't rain, it's wet. I don't know why, and I'm sure some scientists could tell me. If there are any scientists out there, could tell me about your craziest sexual experience. No. No. So anyway, so yeah, it's terrible. You wake up wet. Like, then I think it was Thursday because people left on Friday. So it was at least the end of the week where because your pillows and blankets and stuff were wet until you had to leave them out. Hopefully it was sunny. But yeah, it was terrible. And then the girls, what they did, like their, their version of man night, which is kind of derogatory. It's like, oh, they're doing a derivative of. That's not what I meant, and I don't think anyone thought that. But they did their own thing, which was they would like do each other's hair, which was a huge thing. I forget what else they would do. Obviously, they ate something, but I don't remember, or I don't even know if I knew because, like, why would I know? But the thing that they did, there was a chapel thing with carpet on the ground, and what they would do instead of sleeping outside in the bare air and getting wet in the morning, gross, they would sleep on the floor, but it was carpeted, and they would watch Disney movies. I wanted to be a girl. I hated sleeping outside. Do you want to sleep outside or or watch Disney movies indoors? That really, that's what it was though. And I love Pine Valley. No hate, obviously. But I feel like I can admit that to you guys that I wanted to be a girl every Thursday or whatever day that was. But I wanted to get back to. It's still crazy that animals do that every day of their lives, unless they break into someone's house and then, a foreclosed house or something. But even then, it's like dirty and garbage. But they literally sleep on dirt. They don't even have a tarp. That's insane. And like they curl up, like you've seen like deer and stuff. I think a lot of animals do this, but they like curl up in a circle, I guess for warmth and stuff. But doesn't that hurt their back? Like I know humans get the best sleep when their back is straight. So that's not the case for them, or like don't they have back problems? How would we know? Do they tell us? That's so weird. I don't get it. I don't get any of it. Here's something I thought about, I think last week, but I forgot to write it down or say it. If don't do two new things at the same time, unless you're cool with those being tied together forever. So I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, but it's something I notice repeatedly, and I don't even know if everyone's like this, like me, but when two new things happen at the same time, if one of those happens isolatedly, then I automatically like am reminded of the other thing. So the first time I had Mr. C's Pizza, which is now closed, in Pine Richland, where I'm from. I think it was technically Hampton or whatever, but yeah, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, we weren't in space, so I know it wasn't there. Call back. So Mr. C's Pizza, which was really good, and I don't know why it closed, but that was the first time I had that pizza, and it was a specific kind of pizza. It wasn't like really Chicago, but it definitely wasn't New York. So it was like a weird hybrid place, and so that was a really unique experience for having it for the first time. They had the best crust, and then I watched A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. I ate while I watched it, and so every time I think of, I go past where Mr. C's was, I think of Beautiful Mind, and every time someone references A Beautiful Mind, I think of Mr. C's Pizza, and then I get sad because I can't eat it ever again because they're closed. So that's like a thing, and maybe you don't notice it, but it does happen, and so maybe it's something to look for and try to think of things that happen like that, and be careful of it, because it could be a bad thing. It could be a bad thing and a good thing that you do at the same time, and sometimes you obviously don't have control of it. But if I knew that back then, and I was like in fifth grade or something when I saw The Beautiful Mind and ate Mr. C's Pizza. So so it stuck with me for a while. But if I knew that principle, or that I noticed that back then, maybe I wouldn't want to watch A Beautiful Mind, because what if I don't like the pizza? And then it's like, oh, like this is terrible pizza, and I love this movie, so every time I watch this movie or whatever, I'm gonna think of that bad taste in my mouth, literally and figuratively. So you got to be careful. I can't think of any bad examples personally right now, but um, you know, be on the lookout for that, because it could ruin a really good thing with a bad thing. But like I was gonna say, you don't always have control of it. So I guess there's nothing you could do about that part. But let me know if there's two things that are seemingly unrelated that are like indelibly tied to each other for because they were new to you at the same time. Um, this one isn't a bad one, but it's more so it's more of a one-way street in this way. When I first started listening to Because the Internet by Childish Gambino, which is my all-time favorite album, I went to a camp. That's so weird. Yeah, maybe that's why I thought of that. I went to it was wow, it was called Man Camp, and it was for like a bunch of men, and me and my dad went, and it wasn't as rough and gruff, thankfully, as Pine Valley's Man Night, but yeah, I listened to it a lot when I was there, and it was new at the time. So every time I think of that Man Camp, I think of Because the Internet, and I don't think of Man Camp every time I hear Because the Internet, thankfully, because I love it so much, and I wouldn't want to think of that every time. Yeah, so that's that thing. But yeah, let me know what two weird things are indelibly tied together for you. So softball happened last night. Of course, I have to talk about it. Last week, I talked about how amazing that team was. So annoying. And so we played an equally good team the next game, which was the next day, after last recording. Excuse me. I'm drinking this lemon. It's like a packet, but it's like a wedge of lemon, and it's not good, so I don't do it. My parents bought it when they were here, and then they just left it for me. So I was like, I don't want this to go to waste, and there's like 10 of them because they weren't good. So that's, for some reason, I'm just doing it because it's healthier or whatever than Propel. So I just tasted that in my burp, so that's really gross. And so we played two teams back to back that were way out of our league, and that's really annoying that they did that to us. We're playing teams that play 8 times a week, and we play twice a week, and we're all like not good. Not that we're not good, but we're just like very average. And sometimes we could get it together to be really good, but not everyone comes every week and all that stuff. So I said I wasn't going to talk too much about it, but this last game, it was a beatable team. They were like good, but beatable. And like I'd say the two teams that we played, minimum they would win 98 out of 100 times. And this team, they'd beat us like 70 out of 100 times. I realized that I'm kind of the director of the team. Like there's a coach, and the coach could be the director too. But our coach isn't like that kind of style. He's usually like mostly hands off, which is fine. And but I'm always trying to build people up, to not, because it's really easy to get down on yourself because you're not good because you don't play that much, and all that stuff. So I am constantly like hey, that was great. Maybe next time, like on this next take, try to be more patient with it. Because a lot of people, like especially new people, don't know to be patient because it's slow pitch. So you're like, it's up there forever. I must swing, and then you swing, and then it's like, oh, well, I already swung. I can't swing again. Um, so so yeah, I feel like, and that makes me feel like my my college education wasn't for waste because I'm using it in softball. Um, I do like, I don't know why that makes me satisfied that I actually do have it is like a creative thing almost to be the director, which no one else knows. I'm not like, hey guys, I'm not like in that chair that all directors sit in and like with a ball cap on, like, hey guys, take five. Whatever directors say, I should know. But uh, so yeah, no one knows that or thinks that besides me, but it's a nice little secret. And but people know that I'm a leader, which is really cool. And I never had been a leader on any team ever, I don't think. So, but this team kind of needed one, and I felt like I could do that. So that's why I'm doing it. uh, so this is I think I did this a while ago, but a practical living in the modern age, which is just practical advice. And one of the things I thought of is if you have those AirPods or a variant of AirPods, meaning Bluetooth um, earbuds that need to be charged and stuff. If you know that you're gonna be low on battery at some capacity, just put one in. That'll literally cut the battery in half, and you still get to listen to whatever you want to listen to. So yeah, just put one pod in, and it's not as good with music, I understand, but yeah, it literally doubles your battery life. So if you're in a pinch, that's what you could do. There you go. You're welcome. That's just a short little segment. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, uh, bug. That's funny because what I'm about to talk about. I got up yesterday early. I get up early every day, but sometimes I do stuff in the house before I leave, like shower and do the dishes or whatever, or laundry. Like stupid maintenance stuff that you have to do, that adds up, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's 9 already. It's almost lunchtime. But so yesterday morning I got, I don't know. And I hope you could saw that, but there was a bug, and I was faking like I wanted to eat it. Don't know why. But I'm feeling free, babies. That's what I am. That's like a testament to how comfortable I feel with you, because I feel like before I wouldn't have done that. So yesterday I got up, and there's a little beehive, and I think it might be actually not bees, it might be wasps or something. And so it's scary because it's close to your head, and you have to pass it every time you go in and out of the house. So I was really nervous about it at first, and then I realized that they didn't care at all for some reason, which was like, all right, if you don't care, I don't care. Which is how I am with a lot of things. Like, if you're mad at me, then that's a problem, but most of the time I'm not going to be mad at you. But if you're mad at me, then I might give you back that energy. And then if for some reason you're not mad at me anymore, I'll completely drop it. It's like, if you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. So these bees have these bees. I don't know what I tried to do there. Um, we with these bees. We being these bees is what I wanted to say. We, meaning me and these bees, which rhymes, uh, have that understanding that, like, if you don't care, I don't care. So, so what do you think about having insect friends? Is that cool? Is that a cool thing to do? Um, probably vegans are like, yeah, man, I'm friends with all life, man. Um, have you ever gotten wheatgrass? It's really interesting. It's supposed to. It does a lot of good stuff for you. Maybe I'll put a graphic up or something. Uh, but I haven't done that in a while. I might do that. I might do that today, just for gigs. Um, it's stupid expensive, but it really does give you a shot. Like it's supposed to give you energy um, but yeah, they give you a shot and a chaser, which you could get like something and something, but I always get pineapple. And so you take this shot of wheatgrass, which is it's literally like they go to a meadow where deer are, and they cut the grass and then they grind it up. And there's that's like the very simple version, but it's very strong and very grassy, as you would think. uh, yeah, it tastes like grass. But they put this place that I go to. They put like cayenne pepper in it and stuff to make it like to cut the crazy taste. But that you still need the chaser. And yeah, it's fun. I don't know what made me think of that. Oh, vegan. Yeah. Vegan stuff um, like vegans are even friends with the grass, man. They have an understanding. Uh, as long as you don't cut them all down, it'll still be alive and we could just be chill together. As long as you don't pull the roots out of the grass, man. What was I don't know. Yeah, vegans are friends of insects, so they're probably cool with it. So probably got a lot of vegan fans, which is great. And you know what else? You know who else I'm friends with? There's a lot of spiders in the house that I live, and they're not scary spiders. If they're scary spiders, it'd be a different story. But these are like, I don't know if they are 100% daddy long legs, but they look like a daddy long leg cousin or something. So they're not really scary looking, but they do have webs a decent amount of places. And now it's perfect because it's fall, so now it looks like festive, which is great. They just kind of started a little bit early, aka like months ago. They kind of always been there the whole time I'm there, but it just seems like more lately. Maybe they're like, this is our season. So now I'm gonna get into a little bit more serious stuff. Maybe I should have sprinkled it in more in the beginning or betwixt. But this is kind of stuff that I thought of or came across in therapy. This is so stupid because this is a staple of my existence as an absurdist. But my therapist had to tell me, I think you have to not take things so seriously. And I was like, I can't believe someone had to tell me that. Me, the silly, silly fun boy. Like I don't know how it got like that, but I was like, oh yeah. She's like, expand your lens. Like don't like just look, so really, really take it all in and understand there's like a bigger thing going on. And so I knew that. It's just annoying. It's so annoying knowing all the answers, but you don't think of them at the time, so you're just like stuck in this rut. And all someone needed to say, like anyone could have came up to me like, hey, don't take things so seriously. I'd probably be defensive and be like, dude, I'm an absurdist, dude. I don't take anything seriously. And I was taking things seriously. Um, but yeah, that was yesterday, and like the past, day, I've been like, oh man, like that's so not something to be upset about. And like, I literally like, when in doubt, zoom out. Like really take in, like really look at everything and be like, oh, that's such a small, is that really something is that worth my energy to think about that anymore in a bad way? And then also to even flip it further, it's funny. Like it's so funny. Everything's so funny, especially when you zoom out. It's like, oh, he's so sad over there. That's so stupid. Or like, oh, he's really angry about, stubbing his toe. But it hurts for like 12 seconds, and then, you're fine unless you really break it. One time I broke my toe. I was running in the house, and I hit the what's that called? The thing. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look it up maybe later. But it was in my dining room. It was in my parents' dining room, and it's like where you keep all the extra dishes or something. That thing. And I was running, and I tried to cut the corner. I was like chasing or running away from my friend, and I was young, obviously, and that stupid joke, like, oh, it was last week, and yeah, I kicked it, and then it hurt really bad, and then we finally went to the doctor, and then they're like, yeah, it's broken, but we can't do anything about it. Cool. I hate when they do that. It's like, yeah, it's what you feared, but there's nothing you can do about it, so you just have to stick it out. Oh, cool. But yeah, so I feel a lot better. I'm taking things not so seriously, and I feel so much better. This, I don't know what happened, but so yeah, let me go into more. But that's like the big thing that I just needed to think of and realize. But these other stuff will help me get there. So my therapist noticed that I compare things a lot, and don't compare things. Just simply don't do it, because you're like making a value judgment on whether or not that's a good thing or not, and you shouldn't do that. So she also said, observe your thoughts and don't judge them, and then ask yourself, is that a productive thought? Is that helping who you want to be, the thought that you're having? So maybe that could help you guys. Yeah, I'm doing this, I already know this. Well, I'm trying to relearn this stuff, so it's not for me. I'm hoping something here will be like, oh yeah, I knew that too, but I needed to hear you say that. Yeah, I want to talk about comparing more. I just think that's so bad and unhealthy, and I do it a lot in like, oh, last year this was happening, like that year ago today thing. I do like that, like living good memories and stuff, but sometimes you're like, oh man, it was nostalgia. Oh, it was the best back then. But you were saying that last year too, about the year before that, and so now's the best too. So you just need to remember, like, be present, basically. Enjoy the present. It's just that simple. And obviously I feel like I talk about this all the time, but acceptance. And I talk about it all the time because I don't do it. So I need to keep telling myself, to do it. And sometimes it's funny that you think someone's the best at really is the worst at, but it's the thing that they work on the most, and that's why they're like good at it. But if they didn't actively work on it, they wouldn't have it. So she's trying to get me to do acceptance, and then identify the emotion, and just say it's okay to have that emotion, and then move on, and like not in like 10 seconds or whatever I just did, but like sit with it. And acceptance is super simple. Like it's just like, yes, I accept it, but it's hard to get there. So it's possible, friends. It seemed like I was kind of neglecting and trying to push away my feelings, and so she said maybe it would be helpful for you to just say, hey, I'm feeling this way, and just like say it to no one, it doesn't matter, but just like say it how you feel it, and maybe that would make you feel better. And it did. We tried it, and it was really powerful. It was crazy. And a really, really, really beautiful thing that I can't believe I lived this long in my life without is these 4 things in a row. And you could say this really to anybody, but it could be to yourself too. So here it is. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So really just sit with that for a second with me. That is so powerful, man. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I just love that, man. Wow. I just want to sit with that for like minutes with you, but I'm not going to do that because it's bad, bad air. But I'm going to leave you on that because I think that's so good. And yeah, I've been editing these, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. It's exciting, but it's scary, putting myself out like this. But it could pay off. It could pay off. It will pay off. It will pay off big time. We'll find out how, but yeah, that's what it is. So I hope this made you think. And keep in touch with me. Tell me Wade.
Welcome, Modern Talk. This is Modern Talk. Modern Talk. Modern Talk. Modern Talk. I hope this made you think. Why? How?
Taking my shoes off.